Our top story this Friday, President Trump came out swinging last night at his first campaign rally since the end of the Russia probe. At the event in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the fired-up president called the investigation by special counsel Robert Mueller the greatest hoax in the history of our country. He also spoke out against a number of his political foes, including House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff. Earlier, the president told reporters he's backing off his administration's plan to eliminate federal funding for the Special Olympics. His education secretary, Betsy DeVos, spent days defending the proposed cuts. She had said the Special Olympics get most of its funding from private donations and did not need the nearly $18 million from Washington. Now closer to home, as a Montana family clings to hope in a Utah hospital, the suspect accused of critically injuring Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Wade Palmer pleads not guilty. 2 weeks ago, 28-year-old Jonathan Birch allegedly opened fire, killing one person and injuring two others during a road rage incident in Missoula. And then, about an hour later, ambushed Trooper Palmer, shooting him 3 times in the head, neck, and face. Birch pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of murder on Thursday morning. He remains in the Missoula County Detention Facility on $2 million bond. He's set to appear again in court on May 30th. Here in Billings, community members are stepping up to help Trooper Palmer and his family. Alternative Athletics and CrossFit will host an all-day benefit today. Throughout the day, there will be a special workout dedicated to Trooper Palmer, followed by food and drinks from 5 to 7. Alternative Athletics is asking for donations throughout the day to help the family with medical costs. In court news, it took a jury about 5 minutes to find a Billings police officer justified in the downtown shooting death of a man last April. Officer Brian Weaver shot and killed Zachary Hoven after Hoven ignored officers' commands and came at them with a knife. Authorities were initially called to an apartment complex where someone reported seeing Hoven swinging a knife around. When they arrived, Hoven began to throw objects out his window at the officers standing below in the alleyway. A taser did not stop Hoven, so 2 officers, including Weaver, went inside. That's when Hoven emerged from a room with a knife attached to his hand and refused to stop. Weaver shot him 3 times in the torso. A bill meant to boost urban economic development projects statewide, including the One Big Sky District in Billings, failed in the legislature. In the Senate Taxation Committee, a vote to approve the bill and send it to the Senate floor went down Thursday on a 6-6 tie. The panel then voted to table or kill the measure, which is sponsored by Republican Senator Roger Webb of Billings. Webb then blasted it out of committee, and it failed in the full Senate 24-25. At a committee hearing last week, supporters from Billings and other cities testified the bill could help foster major private investment in economic impact districts and attract and retain workforces. The bill would have allowed tax exemptions and state grants for certain civic infrastructure projects. Supporters say they're disappointed with Thursday's Senate voting. Senator Webb is term limited and says he does not expect another legislator to sponsor the bill in the next session. But Dan Brooks says the chamber and the other groups will do more educating in hopes of getting the bill passed in 2021. Legislation inspired by Montana high school students to put gun training in the classroom is making moves. The bill passed the House and is headed to the Senate. It would require the Office of Public Instruction to develop a gun safety class. Then school districts could implement the course. A group called Helena Youth Against Gun Violence pitched the idea. Although much of the snow has melted away, we're not past flood stage just yet. Q2's Rob Griggs brings us an overview.
Yeah, we made it through February with record snowfall and cold temperatures. That brought on the ice jams and the flooding, but we're still in a flood season. I talked to Tom Frieders at the National Weather Service to find out exactly where we're at in this spring flood cycle. Frieders says that the ice jam and frozen ground issues that we had are behind us now, but ground saturation flooding is now an issue for us to pay attention to.
As we progress out of that ice jam flood threat, and we had that bitter cold and near record snowfall for February, those effects lingered now into later March as we saw the snow start to melt out. And so none of that water was able to sink into the ground, and so it all ran off into our streams and rivers, and that's a big cause of all the flooding that we've had recently. But now we've melted out that frost level, and water is able to sink in. So now we're kind of focus in on shorter-term heavy rain events that could produce flooding.
This current weather system obviously bringing us some scattered rain and snow showers to the area, but spring thunderstorms and the occasionally heavy rain that accompany those thunderstorms is just around the corner. In Billings, Rob Griggs, MTN News.
Thank you so much, Rob. So we've been telling you about the Billings St. Jude Dream Home for nearly a year now, and last night marked another major milestone for the project.
3, 2, 1.
The inside of the 3,600 square foot, $500,000 house at 4202 Snowy Woods Drive in the Ironwood subdivision is now complete. There are less than 1,500 tickets left for a chance to win this classic design home. Thursday's ribbon cutting was celebrated by local volunteers and sponsors as the home and team embark onto the next phase of opening the doors to the community. Open houses begin this Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and run each weekend through April 28th. The open houses are free, and if you are 18 or older, you can also enter a drawing for a $10,000 home makeover from Ferguson Enterprises. While there, you can also purchase a $100 Dream Home ticket with a check, cash, or with your debit card. Well, shoppers have until April 20th to use their Shopko gift cards. That's a reminder from Montana Attorney General Tim Fox. Earlier this month, Shopko announced it was closing all its remaining stores nationwide after claiming bankruptcy in January. Fox says the Montana Office of Consumer Protection has been communicating with Shopko's bankruptcy counsel. Shopko has 11 Montana stores, including the one here in Billings.